A crow lands outside someone's window, drops a tiny blue bottle cap, and quietly flies away. The next morning, a house cat leaves a mouse on its owner's doorstep. Hundreds of miles away, a penguin walks toward its keeper, carrying only one thing. Thousands of miles offshore, an orca surfaces beside a boat, carrying a freshly caught seal. None of these animals know each other. They evolved millions of years apart. Yet somehow, they all made the same decision. Find a human you trust and give them something. Scientists have documented this behavior in birds, mammals, marine predators, even animals separated by hundreds of millions of years of evolution. That's what makes this mystery so difficult. Scientists can describe the behavior, but nobody fully understands why it keeps happening, because this isn't one strange crow or one unusually friendly dolphin. The deeper scientists looked, the more species they found doing exactly the same thing. So the real question isn't, why did one animal leave a gift? It's, why have completely different animals all evolved to thank humans in remarkably similar ways? If there's one animal that has turned gift-giving into a habit, it's the crow. Around the world, crows have been leaving small objects for specific people, sometimes for years. One of the best-known stories began in Seattle, where a young girl named Gabi Man started feeding neighborhood crows every day. At first, they simply came for peanuts, but after months of seeing the same friendly face, something unexpected happened. The crows began leaving gifts: buttons, tiny pieces of polished glass, earrings, even a pearl-colored heart-shaped bead. Over time, Gabi collected hundreds of objects, each carefully placed where she usually left food. At first, it sounded like an unusual story, but researchers soon realized something surprising. Similar reports were appearing across different countries involving completely unrelated crow populations. Scientists at the University of Washington wanted to know just how well crows recognized people, so they designed an unusual experiment. Volunteers wearing different masks either fed the crows or gently scared them away. Years later, the birds still remembered exactly which faces had helped them and which had not. Remembering a face is impressive, but leaving a gift is something else entirely. It suggests that the relationship doesn't end with recognition. Somewhere inside that remarkable brain, the crow has decided one human is worth rewarding. But crows aren't the only animals that bring gifts. In fact, the next one has probably left something on your doorstep already, and you've almost certainly misunderstood why. If you've ever owned a cat, you've probably experienced this. You wake up one morning, open your bedroom door, and find a dead mouse waiting for you. For decades, scientists believed cats were trying to teach us how to hunt, just as mother cats teach their kittens. But that explanation has a problem. Many house cats were raised entirely indoors. Some never learned to hunt from their mothers at all. So why do they still bring us gifts? Today, many animal behaviorists think the explanation is much simpler and much more fascinating. Your cat may not see you as someone who needs hunting lessons. Instead, it sees you as part of its family. In the wild, successful hunters often return with food to share with members of their social group. Your cat may simply be treating you like one of its own. But then researchers notice something even stranger. Thousands of miles away in Antarctica, Gentoo penguins have one of the most famous courtship rituals in the animal kingdom. A male searches for the perfect pebble, then offers it to the female he wants as a mate. Those pebbles aren't just romantic gestures, they become the foundation of the nest, lifting eggs above freezing meltwater. Every carefully chosen stone has real value. That's why zookeepers were so surprised when some penguins began offering those same carefully chosen pebbles, not to another penguin, but to the humans who cared for them every day. Birds on land weren't the only ones doing this. Beneath the surface of the ocean, another group of animals had been quietly inviting humans into their social world. By now, you might think this kind of gift-giving only happens on land, but beneath the surface of the ocean, scientists began noticing a remarkably similar pattern. Divers around the world have occasionally reported wild dolphins approaching them while carrying objects, pieces of coral, seaweed, even live eels. What's fascinating isn't the object itself, it's what happens next. In many observations, the dolphin doesn't swim away. It pauses, watching to see how the human responds. Marine biologists think this behavior may be connected to something dolphins already do with each other. Passing objects back and forth is a common part of play, learning, and social bonding. If that's true, they may not be confusing humans for dolphins. They may simply be inviting us into a game they already understand. And then, researchers documented something no one expected. Along the coasts of Washington and California, wild killer whales repeatedly approached boats carrying freshly caught prey and left it in front of the people on board. Even more surprising, some whales waited for several minutes, and if nobody touched the prey, a few tried again. Killer whales don't need humans to hunt. They don't need protection. They aren't asking for food, so why keep doing it? The answer may lie in how killer whales treat each other. Crows, cats, penguins, dolphins, killer whales. None of these animals are closely related, yet somehow they all arrived at behaviors that look remarkably similar. Coincidence, or something much deeper. By now, a pattern has emerged. Crows leave shiny objects, cats carry home prey, penguins offer carefully chosen pebbles, dolphins share objects, killer whales sometimes leave prey beside boats. These animals aren't closely related, yet their behavior seems surprisingly similar. So are these animals really saying thank you? Scientists are much more cautious than that. We can't ask an animal why it behaved a certain way, so instead we look for explanations that fit what we can actually observe. One explanation is called reciprocity. In many social animals, individuals remember who has helped them before. Sharing food, objects, or valuable resources can strengthen relationships and encourage future cooperation. Another explanation is social bonding. Many of these animals already exchange food or objects with members of their own species. Humans may simply become part of that social world after years of calm, predictable interactions. Notice what's missing from every story we've covered. None of these animals brought gifts to strangers. Every example involved repeated, peaceful encounters over time. That doesn't prove these animals feel gratitude the way humans do, but it does suggest something remarkable. They can recognize individuals, remember past experiences, and adjust their behavior based on those relationships. Perhaps the most extraordinary part isn't the gift itself, it's the decision behind it. Out of thousands of people, these animals repeatedly chose one. Maybe that's why these stories continue to fascinate us. Not because they prove animals think exactly like we do, but because they remind us that trust can exist between very different kinds of minds. We spend so much time asking whether animals understand us. Maybe the better question is whether we've underestimated how well they understand relationships. They may not bring gifts to say thank you, but when they return to the same person, again and again, carrying something they value, they reveal something just as meaningful: trust. If you enjoyed this documentary, you might also like our exploration of why some wild animals ask humans for help and what scientists think is really happening. Thanks for watching.